The Toronto Blue Jays are going all in as a brand new report has dropped from a very notable insider revealing some huge information surrounding their pursuit of one key free agent that is not only super exciting, but has massive implications as free agency is now underway. We're to break that down as well as discuss how, quite frankly, folks, they are going even bigger than we initially thought. But not only that, we have some wild updates, including the MLB robbing the Jays once again. A ton to go over on this episode. Things are getting crazy. But before we get into it all, folks, I see each and every one of your comments. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. It truly means the world to me. So if you're enjoying the daily content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's not stopping anytime soon. It's not stopping ever, actually. So thank you guys for that. Folks, let's dive right into it. A ton of information has dropped. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, or if you're a new viewer, a new Jays fan, the Jays every offseason, of course, are involved in the top echelon of free agents. And Joel Sherman, a very notable reporter alongside Jesse Rogers of ESPN, are reporting and came out recently and said the Blue Jays will have an aggressive offseason. And of course, the Tigers should not trade Tarek Skubal. But they go on to say that the Jays should have an aggressive offseason, that they're going to be linked to everybody. And at the top of the list, yes, folks, at the top of the list is none other than Kyle Tucker. You can see here from Ben Turner. Joel Sherman name drops Kyle Tucker as a guy who would fit the Jays style of play and expects him to be aggressive this offseason. Now, I have a bunch of other reports to go over as well here, but folks, we know the Jays, they're going to be going all in. And I mean, you think about the way they've gone in the past few off seasons. Juan Soto, obviously pursued him. Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki, various degrees, a bunch of different players. And they struck out in every single one. You're coming off of a brutal World Series loss that was really good, but of course, the way it ended was heartbreaking. Maybe not brutal in the sense that they played bad, but obviously, it was heartbreaking. They are all in here on Kyle Tucker. And over the past few days before free agency starts, I mean, free agency is officially started now, but before it started, like even into now today, the reports are from every reporter that the Jays are going, as hard and as aggressive as any team. And it's showing. And if you take anything into betting odds here, the Jays are favorites to land Kyle Tucker, which is absolutely ludicrous. We'll have a full video covering this, I'm sure, later on in the offseason. But folks, this team is different this year. And every single year, reporters, okay, they push this player to, a U.S. team, all these different things. John Heyman talking about how the U.S. has a better market for superstars and the Jays, all these different things. None of that is real now. Reporters, everybody knows and respects the Toronto Blue Jays, and players, most importantly, want to play in Toronto. And it's gotten to a point now where they are not only all in, but they are going to be going for the top tier guys. And Kyle Tucker just became even more real, because if you missed it, John Heyman came out recently and also linked the Jays to Kyle Tucker and said the Blue Jays are another team that could play for number one free agent Kyle Tucker. They played for the biggest free agents, Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto, and Jays sources say they still would have had signed Vladdy even if they had gotten Ohtani or Soto. And of course, John Heyman also links the Dodgers and Giants. So folks, this is like multiple sources now. Joel Sherman's a very good reporter, reporting that the Jays are going, super aggressive. They're going all in, if you want to say that, but also they're going after Kyle Tucker, and there's no name at this point off of the board. I mean, you see, Ben Nicholson-Smith's report that I covered yesterday about, Murakami is going to command a ton of money. They're looking at trade options. We know Ross Atkins recently came out and said that they're not going to be opposed to anything. Nothing is off the table at this point. And for Kyle Tucker, nothing should be off of the table. Now, for the Cubs, it seems like, Jed Hoyer, he talked about how they're playing in Chicago, but it's basically speaking about Kyle Tucker in the past tense, which means he's going to be leaving Chicago. And of course, the Dodgers are players, the Giants are players. And folks, the Blue Jays are players, but they're going to have to pay up. Tucker is expected to be between $400 and $500 million. Even in a season that saw Tucker dealing with multiple injuries, he was able to impact the game in all areas. I mean, he is an absolute stud. I love Kyle Tucker and how he fits in Toronto. I mean, being injured, dealing with injuries, he still put up a 4.5 WAR. His peripherals are great. You add him to the Toronto Blue Jays, not only would it be a little bit, it will never, solve it, but a little bit of a consolation prize for losing the World Series. But it proves that this team is literally going to be open to getting anybody. And you can see here from Joel Sherman, the Blue Jays will be linked to just about everybody this winter, Kyle Tucker included. So take it from Joel Sherman, take it from John Heyman, who, he does have sources. As much as some people may love him or may hate him, he has sources, and he will always link the Blue Jays to players if they're really in it. And man, oh man, is it going to be like they're going bigger than I thought. They are I didn't really expect them to be necessarily linked to Kyle Tucker. It was always a play, but you of course need to get Bichette done first and foremost. But A lot of people are almost acting like getting Bichette's a given at this point, which I think they will. But man, oh man, would adding Kyle Tucker just make this even better? I mean, you'll have Santander, Kyle Tucker, I mean, George Springer, DH. This team would be unbelievable. And they already are unbelievable, but it is super exciting. But again, it's going to cost a ton of money. And they're somehow favorites. And you can see some comments from Ross Atkins about the possibility of adding another DH type player to the roster, which Kyle Tucker is not, right? He's an okay fielder, a great arm, pretty bad range. But he says, I don't want to put ourselves in a box. I don't think you're off base to assume that the fit isn't clean with DH. But you can see at the bottom there, so is everything on the table? Yeah, I don't want to take anything off. And that means getting a DH, maybe Kyle Schwarber, getting a guy like, Kyle Tucker, who's at the upper echelon of, of course, players in general, the best free agent in this class. And then, of course, Bichette number 2, according to most people. There's also, Murakami, who I covered, some other, I believe in other pitchers from the MPB, some Japanese pitchers who are going to get hundreds of millions of dollars, who we'll dive into later. Craziness. And there is a lot of stuff that's going to be happening here, especially with the way that, again, I had a video earlier covering a lot of the Japanese players. There is an elite pitcher, Tetsuya Ime, who the Jays are, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I-M-A-I, Ime. I'll apologize if I'm incorrect on that. Correct me down below if I am, and I'll fix it for next video. But Tetsuya Ime, who is a unbelievable pitcher, is going to get over 100 million. The Jays are in that market. They're in quite literally, folks, every single market, and it's going to be a crazy offseason. And yes, it still stings that they lost the World Series. It stings that inches away and stuff still pops up in the timeline. But folks, let's take the positives out of it. This team is special. Most of the players are returning. You already have Shane Bieber returning, Clement's under contract. Go out and get another big free agent. They got Santander last year. They didn't get Roki Sasaki, who is going to be a fantastic reliever or starter for the Dodgers. Who knows? Go out and get Kyle Tucker. And yes, the Dodgers are going to be in on Kyle Tucker as well. But the Jays, crazy, crazy, crazy. And it's great to see these reports coming out early before things really start to pick up. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this, because it's exciting no matter what way you look at it. And it's going to cost a lot of money to get him. But 400 or so million is the projected amount. It could be 500 million depending how things go, though. It's interesting because Vladdy got 500. So a couple other things here before I wrap up, folks. Some bad news, and the Jays were robbed. You can see here, introducing your 2025 Rawlings Gold Glove Team Award winner, the Cubs and the Rangers. The Rangers got it over the Toronto Blue Jays, the Team Gold Glove, even though the Jays had, according to, I think, every advanced metric, better defense than the Rangers. You could see the fielding run value. The Jays are 25 fielding runs better, which counts for a bunch of things defensively. I don't know how they did it. People are very not upset about it. It really doesn't mean anything. But for a team that prided itself on defense, Dalton Varsho, who albeit missed a lot of time, but Dalton Varsho, Andres Jimenez, Vladdy had a pretty good year over there. I mean, Ernie Clement should have got the Gold Glove at the utility position. Even Addison Barger, who's not a great necessarily. He has the best arm. He's not a bad defender, but he had a pretty improved year, especially defensively overall. I mean, Alejandro Kirk being the best defensive catcher in baseball. José Berríos, I don't know how they don't give it to him, but, MLB robbing the Jays as per usual. But, folks, let me know down below what your thoughts are. Things are going to be super exciting, and this is the place to be. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. You guys are absolute beasts. Cheers.